we can make our economy stronger and more competitive while meeting our fundamental responsibilities to one another. Joining me now, Congresswoman Karen Bass. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you're going to be in the heart of that battle to fix the economy. You're new to Congress, but as you know, and I'm sure you're hearing from your constituents, people are looking for some specifics. How do you get the country moving again? How do you create jobs? So what are you and the Democrats going to do?
Well, the first thing we need to do is get back to business. You know, we're actually having a hearing today on health care reform, and you know that we'll be voting on that tomorrow. Well, one of the things I was really interested in coming to Congress for was to work on the workforce issues related to health care, because there are thousands and thousands of jobs that will be needed, and jobs is number one of what we need to focus on right now.
And once we go beyond health care, and we know how the Democrats feel about that, what about this review of federal regulations that the president talks about? Because the Republicans have been very critical. They say government has gotten too big, that these regulations are onerous. Is this review past due? Are the Republicans right about that?
You know, I think, well, first of all, I don't think that's just a Republican issue. I think that's one of those issues we could look at in a bipartisan manner. And I have to tell you that back in the state of California, that was something that we were doing. I think there's a lot of things that we need to look at, and it's not just regulations. Sometimes it's duplicate paperwork. My brother, for example, is a small businessman, and one of his big complaints is he has to fill out a 1099 every time he does a transaction over $600, and it creates a tremendous burden on small businesses. So I think we should look at every aspect we can to get Americans back to work and to get the economy moving. And we do know that we're on the road for recovery, but it's slower than we wish, and we certainly need to address the unemployment figures.
Yeah, and one of the key debates in terms of the economy is clearly going to be about raising the debt ceiling. You know what the Republicans say, that they aren't going to support this without some cuts. I'm sure you've given this a lot of thought. Where do you think the government is fat? Where do you think those cuts can come from? Because it's easy to say, you know, we need to cut back, we need to stop overspending. The devil's always in the details.
Oh boy, the devil certainly is in the details. And I'll tell you that now, this is my second week of Congress. I do think we need to have everything on the table. We should look at the area of defense. We should look at bases around the world that maybe aren't necessarily needed any longer. I do think we need to cut. But one thing, though, we cannot be irresponsible and shut the government down. And so if it comes to raising the debt ceiling to prevent the government from shutting down, that's exactly what we need to do.
Congresswoman Karen Bass, who knows a little bit about tough economic decisions, having been in California.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for being with us.